Hello everyone. So today I'm going to be doing a process video and commentary of a piece that I was working on this past month of the Digimon Veemon and all of his Digivolutions. I was planning to do that because of the next convention I'm going to be going to will be actually hosting the voice actor for the voice of Veemon. So I'm super excited for that. Now, I will say that this is the process. So obviously you've seen the thumbnail to sketch process so far, and this is the base sketch. And the inspiration for this piece was obviously Veemon, but also mixed with the Gohan, Goku, Kamehameha video. Goodness gracious, I was stumbling over that word. But I was doing this because I thought that was a cool scene and I wanted to see if it would do well with Digimon, and obviously it did. And as we're going through this process, it's actually quite interesting to look back and see how I worked onto this. Now, as I was going through the line art and the sketch phase, I did jump through that quite a bit. It was fairly easy because I've worked on line art quite a lot with Clipstudio Paint, and I just love the process of that. Now I'm going through what I'm calling blocking or silhouette blocking. I remember there's an actual term for it, but I can't remember. But I do this process so that I know which way I'm going to color each different Digimon or Digivolution of Veemon separately, so that I'm not getting overwhelmed with all of the colors being on the same layer at the same time. And then I jump into getting the occlusion shading in, as well as all the other base shading, so that I'm getting an understanding of how the values are going to be going through and what will the full piece look like once that's taken care of. This is the process that I feel is the fastest for me because we are almost done with this process because of it being basic shading and so forth. But as I was working on trying to get this piece to go through, I wanted the values to keep to that semi-transparent vibe that the Gohan and Goku scene had when they were fighting Cell. So I am doing the base shading in the as similar as possible, but I'm also trying to keep the further Digimon in the back to be lighter in some way so that it portrays the ethereal or the Digivolution of this Digimon as quickly as possible. And since I had all of the values taken care of and the silhouettes, I was able to go layer by layer with clipping masks and jump into each layer without worrying about jumping in or out of different colors or blocking, so that everything stayed as close to what I had planned as possible. This process of getting all the shading and then going into coloring may seem a little different than from what other artists do, but this I felt was the best way, especially since I was using different overlays and multiply layers depending on the colors that the Digimon had, so that the values that I set up already would show through the colors as clearly as possible. Then after that, I would start rendering. And the rendering, once I got started, was what I thought was going to take the least amount of time, because I was like, oh, I got the shading done, I got the values done, and I got the colors in. I don't have to re-render everything. And as I was going through it, I was like, oh, there's a lot of armor in all of these Digivolutions in some form, because Veemon does do a lot of armor digivolving. And so you're going to see a lot of rendering process, and I can go into the way that I did the rendering, or like go into more in depth on that. If you want, let me know in the comments down below. Now, the voice actor of Veemon is Derek Stephen Prince, who has been the voice actor for many characters that I enjoy throughout different medias of anime. Specifically in the Digimon world, he is Veemon's voice actor as well as Beelzemon's voice actor, which is super cool to realize later. He's such a good actor, I didn't tell that he was the same voice actor for both of them. And it's interesting to see the differences that he's able to go through that. Now, because I'm bringing that up, I was actually going to do a Beelzemon piece or a Veemon piece, and I had my Twitch stream vote on which version we were going to be doing, because I wanted a more interactive situation. So if you want to help vote for future projects, please join my Twitch stream, follow me. Link should be in the bottom down in the description. But this was originally going to be a playmat for the Digimon TCG or your mouse pad, giant mouse pads for your desktop. And that was going to be what was happening. I started this at early April, and then lots of stuff changed. I've discussed that in a couple of my shorts before, and I am currently waiting to see if things are going to go back to the way they were so that I'm able to make this a playmat. But currently, I am just going to be printing this on normal prints. For those that watch my shorts, you probably have seen how this looks like in the final rendition. And throughout the process of working on this piece, I started realizing about at this point where I did not like the blue background of this piece. It was too much blue, and it was clashing with the blue of the Digimon's base color, of Veemon's base color. And so I was like, no, I need to start thinking of how to improve this, how to work on this. So once I finished rendering, which was going to be in just a little bit here, I realized I needed to work on this in a different way once I got done with the rendering. And that's going to be the majority of, I think, this part once I get all of the different renders taken care of. And all of this was recorded via my Twitch stream, so if you want to see more of how I worked on all this, you can through there, as well as VODs that I post via YouTube. But other than that, this piece was super fun to work on. And now we're to the point where I started experimenting with the background and foreground of power effects, because I just was not happy with them. And I went from purple, I went to gold, I went to green, and then I settled on a more of a neon lime yellow green. I don't know how to explain the color because I don't know what color it is, because I feel like it's multiple layers. I started adding effects to make sure that everything lines up, and then started a grid because, Digimon do a lot of digital grid stuff. And as we're getting close to the end, I would like to know what everyone's favorite Digimon in this piece is, or what your favorite Digimon in general is. And let me know that in the comments, and what pieces you would like to see in the future, whether it is showing off more of my compositional pieces or other pieces that I have planned to make in the future with fan art. If so, let me know in the comments. Follow me on this platform here and subscribe, like the video if you liked Digimon or liked this video, and I will see you guys all again in the next one. Bye.